There was an old father and a son who lived together on a farm. They were very poor. They had one coat. The father said, I'm 95 years old. If I don't have the coat, I'm gonna die from cold. The boy said, I'm out in the farm. I need the coat. The father said, but I'm old, you're young and strong. They got into a fight. They go to the Rav. Who's right? The son says, I want the coat. The father says, I want the coat. The Rav thinks. He says, I'm sorry, your son is right. You're indoors, find a way to protect yourself indoors. But he's outdoors. Outdoors, what is he supposed to do? The only shelter, the only protection he has is a coat. Your son is right. Son says, you see, I told you I'm right. Son takes the coat, puts it on, and they walk back from the rabbi's home back to their hut at the end of this farm. It's freezing. And the son sees his father shivering, literally trembling, a 95-year-old man trembling from cold. And he can't deal with it. He takes off the coat and he says, Tati, here's the coat. And the father says, thank you, puts on the coat, and now the son is trembling. And the father feels horrible. He says, I think you should have the coat. No, you have the coat. They come home, and the father is wearing the coat, and the boy goes out to work. The father's looking out the window, and he sees his son trembling, and he calls him in, he says, you have the coat. He says, no. I see how cold you are. You have the coat. But the rabbi says you have it. So I know what the rabbi said, but voluntarily I'm giving it to you. So now they get into a new fight. The father says, it's your coat. And the son says, it's your coat. They go back to the Rav. The Rav listens, thinks, says, give me a moment. He goes into his bedroom. He comes out with a big warm fur coat, and he says, you know, I just remembered I had this in my closet for many, many years. I don't use it, I have another coat, and it's here. So why don't I lend this to you? And when God helps you, you have money and you can afford another coat, you'll give it back to me. So the old man looks at him and says, Rebbe, why couldn't you do this the first time? You had the coat in the closet for 20 years. He says, good question. I didn't think of it. So I'll tell you why I didn't think of it. Everybody's energy is connected. So we affect each other in ways much deeper than we know consciously. So the Rav says as follows. The first time, you both came in screaming. The boy was screaming, it's my coat, mine. The father was screaming, it's my coat. Subconsciously, I was screaming, it's my coat. I didn't even think of giving it to you. But now you came in, the boy was screaming, it's your coat. The father was screaming, it's your coat. So my system started to scream, let me share the coat. As a result of the rabbi hearing these types of people, he found out a part about himself that he didn't know before. Before that, why should I give a coat to somebody else? I'm a rabbi, I'm not a gemach. We often view life as victims. I'm responding to a situation. Very often I could create a situation.
TheYeshiva.net